Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Dear brothers and sisters in Sri Bhagavan, what a wonderful function we've all had in the last 24 hours. This started with the performance of Mahanyasam Puja yesterday morning at 4 o'clock and is culminating with the program in North America. This proves that for our Bhagavan, there are no boundaries, no limitations of time. Today, I also like to wish all the wonderful mothers in the extended Ramana family a very happy Mother's Day. Sri Ramanashram is an institution founded and run to this day by two mothers, Gomata Cow Lakshmi and Mother Aragammal, bearing their samadhis with the significance of their self-absorption mukti. What better edifice for motherhood can exist anywhere in the world? As you can all see, I'm sitting beside the 340-year-old Ilupa Maram, the Ilupa tree, which has welcomed each one of you to Sri Ramanashramam. And besides it, we have a 340-hour-old new fledgling flower garden. This is the beauty of our ashram. There is a constant arrival of fresh blooming flower shrubs like young devotees who are soon inspired and anchored by the inspirational older devotees like this Ilupa tree. This is what happens in every satsang group like yours all over the world. This also symbolizes the relatively young path blazed by our Bhagavan to self-realization, made available to one and all, adapted to the modern times, but based on the solid rock-like foundation of Advaita Vedanta. Friends, for many institutions founded by various saints and masters, Aradhana is a mere act of formality to complement the bigger celebration of the saints' Jayanti. For them, a greeting, Happy Aradhana, is an oxymoron, as it implies some loss, the loss of the personality. But not so for us, the devotees of Sri Bhagavan Ramana. Aradhana Day is as important a day as Jayanti. The very foundation of Sri Bhagavan's teachings is based on the certainty of the death of the physical body. Facing that final challenge to one's life opens one to a deeper realm of the inner world and leads us to merge with the deathless spirit Atman, present in every one of us. As Bhagavan said, in the end, every method of instruction addresses that question. So why not start with that in the beginning itself? It is a death experience that Bhagavan had in July 1896 that led to the new practical path of Atma Vichara, a combination of all three traditional margas. However, the main emphasis being on the Vichara Marga. The death of the young boy Venkatraman and the birth of the eternal Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi happened simultaneously in Madurai in July 1896. To quote from the book by Professor K. Swaminathan, the young boy, feeling the full force of his personality, hearing the spurana of the I within during the death experience, became the awareness transcending the body, the spirit immortal. Young Venkataraman, during his clear, calm acceptance of the body's end, discovered his inmost being as pure awareness and thus overcame for once for all the fear of death. In Shakespeare's ringing words, he fed on death, death that feeds on men, and death being dead, there is no more dying then. End of quote. The peak experience of the total identity with awareness and detachment from the body-mind complex released a perennial spring of all-embracing love and joy, which proved through half a century of egoless living the oneness of all selves. This whole vision of death occupied less than half an hour, gave him the handy, unfailing, and all-purpose weapon, the question, who am I? The death experience was repeated again in 1912. This time it occurred in the presence of others. On the way back, after a bath, in front of the Pachayaman Kovil, with Vasudeva Shastri and others, he had the second experience with cessation of the heartbeat. All, to quote Bhagavan, all around me was the view of a white cloth. He was conscious of the body getting chill and still felt no fear. Again, to quote Bhagavan, the flow of my thoughts and the consciousness of myself were not lost. And I was not worried about my body's condition. I sat cross-legged in Padmasana posture, not leaning on the rock behind. This episode lasted 15 minutes. The final death experience, to quote Professor Swaminathan, was from February 1949 till April 1950, when he had a prolonged and painful dissolution of the body. Through this, he reenacted publicly the drama of July 1896 and taught his devotees that as his flesh shared with them the common lot of mortality, their awareness could share with him the bliss of transcendent being. He showed that birth and death are for the body, while for I as awareness, which contains and transcends time and space, there is no coming or going, no meeting or parting. To come to the modern times, in the current pandemic, the 71st anniversary, which as a matter of symmetricality, Bhagavan also lived physically for 71 years, and now we are 71 years since his physical demise. This current pandemic, the 71st anniversary of Bhagavan shedding his physical body, is an opportunity for all of us to reignite our spiritual energies, to commit ourselves to the continuous daily practice of self-inquiry. Bhagavan has made available the ancient practice of Atma Vichara, which could once only be practiced in a jungle hermitage to be easily done in our living rooms and even in our office rooms. As he assures Paul Brunton that after the elimination of the last thought, the I thought, a man does not become unconscious nor does he become an idiot. On the contrary, Bhagavan assures Paul Brunton, and through him, each one of us, the man will attain consciousness, which is immortal, and he will become truly wise, even in a worldly sense. He assures that such a person will get the greatest power, which is the loss of doubt and uncertainty which follows his footsteps throughout his life. Something that the greatest kings and statesmen do not have. These people try to rule others when in the heart of hearts, they know that they cannot rule themselves. So Bhagavan says, what is the use of knowing about everything else when you do not know who you are? Friends, unless we rededicate our lives to the practice of Sri Bhagavan's teachings, we shall only be paying lip service to our beloved Guru. He asks nothing else of us. He has given us all a clear path to moksha and is gently waiting at the finish line to welcome us all to a state of deathlessness. The highest tribute we can pay to our Bhagavan is attaining self-realization, mukti, by meticulously performing sadhana based on his teachings. From a personal standpoint of view, for the past few weeks, I can confirm that the ashram is truly an oasis, a true rock of Gibraltar amidst all the chaos and sufferings in the external world. Mornings here, like today, gently dawn with one being woken up by the peacocks. The days pass on at its idyllic pace, and the sunsets bring in the daily parayana. One feels Bhagavan's presence and protection 24/7. An assurance that he is taking care of us as always. Friends, that same assurance is available for everyone wherever you are. For Hassan Muruganar sung, wherever I go, there is Ramanashrama. So wherever the devotees are, in your hearts, there is Ramanashrama. And through you, Bhagavan's presence and protection. I want to express my gratitude, for without gratitude, there is no life in Sri Bhagavan's teachings. I want to thank the technical team headed by the wonderful couple who are now behind the camera, Maitreyi and Raj. They have initiated the digital upgrade of the ashram services. Sri Ramanashramam is in your home at least 3 days a week on the way to daily broadcast. Again, behind the camera is Sri Gopal, Tyagu, and in presence, in his absence, Shiva. They are the ground men who ensure the happening of these events. I also want to thank Michael Heiberger, the editor of Sharanagati. And Sri Chris Quilke, the editor of Mountain Path. They bring the miracle of Bhagavan's teachings. Just as one thinks that everything has been said about Sri Bhagavan, one has heard the last word, they come up with new things, new visions, a new dimension of our Bhagavan and his miraculous teachings. I also want to thank the frontline workers of Sri Ashram, who have braved through this pandemic, putting their lives at risk and ensuring that each one of us is safe. I want to acknowledge the security people at the gate who face the virus every day physically, the sanitation department who ensure that the ashram is meticulously clean, the kitchen workers who whip up 3 meals a day, the Goshala workers who ensure a continuous supply of the highest organic milk in the world, the puja department who meticulously perform pujas on time, finally, the volunteer devotees who work tirelessly 24/7. Please join me in a gentle thanks to each one of them. Today, I also want you to join me in praying for a complete recovery for my uncle Sri V. Ganeshan, the former editor of Sri Mountain Path. He is to undergo an orthopedic surgery in the next few hours, and we all pray for his recovery and his quick arrival in the ashram. Finally, friends, I want to report that Sri Ramanashramam continues to function as always without any impediments. We, the administration and the volunteers, will be waiting for each one of you when things open up to welcome you all to your second home, home away from home. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Thank you so much.